Hello everyone and welcome to G Crochet Off the Hook. I'm G Geraldine, sharing my love of crochet, and today is another edition of Christmas Extravaganza 2026, hosted by K&K Crochet every day for the month of July. Now, KK and Kristen are also joined by lovely creative crafting elves across the YouTube streets, sharing practical, decorative, joyful, and fun ideas for Christmas makes that we could get started with right now, and that way avoid some of the handmade craziness that comes around at the end of the year. So today's adventures, I was having a look at some of the little projects that I've done during the course of the years. Sometimes we take on little projects that we really enjoy making, but we don't have a bigger project in mind at the time that we make it. I also had a scrummage through some buttons that I have and also some jolly noise makers. And somehow I've put all of that together to share with you some crochet gifting ideas. Now, the first of the two squares that I'd like to share with you today is 4 little squares that I found a tag for in my container where I keep little projects that I've done over the years. This one I've actually dated April the 18th, 2023. It's a video tutorial by Hooked by Robin. I used yarn ends, a 4mm crochet hook, and it was called "You Won't Believe How Easy This Crochet Square Is." It is easy, it's only 4 rounds, and I was very attracted to it in 2023. And I actually made 4 of those little squares and then attached this tag to it to remind me what I'd used, where the pattern was from, and stored it away in my box. I pulled out those 4 separate squares, which have now been joined into a handy little make, and initially this is one of the squares, just a 4 round repeat square, which I've now made into a project. So the project idea still didn't come to me immediately, but I did grab some twinkly yarn and set out checking the tutorial and making a few of these little squares with some sparkly yarn. I think on the red one we'll be able to see some of the sparkle. So very quick make with 2 colors. That's how the back looks. And as I made these squares, little gift ideas were coming to mind. So I made 2 little squares out of our Christmas colors, and then I had the twinkly yarn out and I decided to play around with a few more colors, and I made another of those squares. Now this is the first one that I've made into an ornament. Just a cheerful little decoration. As I made these squares, they started to remind me, with the different colors I was using, that it sort of looked like a star. So for this square, I made it as the tutorial directs, just 4 rounds. After you've made 1 or 2, you remember exactly what it is that you need to do. For this one, I added just a little hanging loop at the top. And then, of course, I added some jolly noise. And all I did was make a little tassel. And when the tassel was attached, I ran a piece of thread through one of these little bells. Just attached it straight up through it, and then tied a knot and put those tail ends straight back down. You can actually see the one end was a little bit shorter. But there you go. From a square that's been sitting around since 2023, I was able to make this sweet little decoration. Of course, there are many ways and many variations that you would be able to make. I made another one with some sparkly brown and white yarn, and I just changed the way I added the hanging loop. This one I just crocheted in, and again I added the little bow through the middle of the tassel at the bottom. Of course, I decided, well, I was on a roll and I was making quite a few of them. So I put together 3 of the little squares and I made a little door hanger. And I think this turned out really awesome and would be a great gift to give to someone, because it will just go onto the door hanger and give some gentle, jolly bell sounds. So for this one, I made 3 of the squares, just sewed them together, whatever's your preferred method, and then put a single crochet round all the way around it. Made it into, this could also be like a little wall hanging. This one I sewed on, so I left a long tail at the top after I had done the single crochets all the way around, and just wrapped it around a little bamboo stick that I had. You could use any stick that you have on hand, and then I added a little hanging loop from the side. This one I added a little tassel at the bottom. You could decorate these any which way. I have also attached 4 little bells. These are easily removable, as I just threaded it through the bell, through the crocheted piece, and tied them with little bows. So if somebody wanted to have this as a wall decoration but without the bells, they would be able to remove the bells. But so that is another variation of these squares. Just putting different colors together and adding the little bells. So once I'd had my fun with the bells and making little decorations, I still had my 4 original squares. So I decided to join them together in a 4-piece, and for that I played around with different joins, and I'll share the one that I decided on, which is sort of like a cable look. You can see it has like a pretty little sort of peekaboo cable join. So I joined the 4 squares together, and then I folded it into an envelope shape where you fold your sides in. I've just stitched this up like here, and I found a cute little stocking button, added the tab to the top, and created a practical pouch to be gifted. And that all from just those 4 unique little squares. I think it's turned out really sweet, and it's definitely going to be a very lovely gift to give. All from squares that we made, well, I made years ago, and at last they found their purpose. Now, depending on how many squares you join together, this is just the 4 little squares. I was able to put a notebook in here, just one of those little notebooks that you get with lines that comes with a little pen, and now I'd be able to gift this as a whole set to someone, and they would be able to just take it along with them as they go. So this can obviously be done with any squares that you might have. You could even put a whole lot of different squares together and make a little pouch like this. You can play around with different joins. That's what I love about small projects, is before you commit to a new way of joining or stitching, if you take on a small project, you can try a whole lot of different makes and know for a bigger project which one you felt the best comfortable with. So there's our little decorations with a square that comes from 2023. Tutorial is still available and your creativity can be set free as you decide to decorate them how you would like. Now, the second square that I had was also with a little tag. This one is tagged 2025. It was a square that was released during, I think it was during Granny Square month or day. It is a free square pattern. It's called Tuppy Turtle and it's available and designed by Sharon Morrison on Instagram, Love Crochet Shaz. And I remember making this square last year and I was absolutely in love with it. But I did only make that one and add the tab to it. So this year, as I was thinking, what could I do with some of my squares? I decided to turn Tuppy Turtle into another wall hanging. And this is going to somebody very special. Well, he'll be very new to the world at the end of the year. But I decided to turn Tuppy Turtle, that's the beautiful square designed by Sharon Morrison, available on her Instagram. I decided to turn Tuppy Turtle into a wall hanging. And this time I decided to make tabs for the top of the wall hanging. That is where you can go straight into your square, decide how wide you would like your tabs to be, how many you would like to put on, and then just crochet a straight piece, leave a tail and sew it in together at the back. Add it to a piece of driftwood from the beach or a stick from the forest. I again just have my little bamboo stick here. I've added a twine rope for the hanging bit, and I added a few tassels taking into account just a few of the colors that were in the square. So we can also choose to be creative with some of our individual squares and turn them into beautiful gifts as wall hangings. I know there are many squares. I have done a few over the years, like flowers, animal squares that we often do for blankets. You could perhaps choose a favorite square, make a few tabs, or join it if you wanted to, as this one was joined, where you can sew it onto the top. There's different ways to join your little pieces to a hanging stick. And of course for this one, I will share with you a quick little pattern that happened to pop up around about the time that I was putting this together as a wall hanging, and that is for this cute little no-sew turtle that I made with some yarn ends in plush yarn. Baby friendly, just crocheting, embroidering in the little eyes, little bubbles for feet. And there we go. Another little gift thought of during Christmas in July and ready to be packaged for gifting in the Christmas month ahead. So whatever project it is that you have on your hooks or you are thinking of on your to-do lists for the end of the year, I hope that you have lots of fun and jolly joy making them this time of the year, so that come the end of the year, you'll just have time for all the cheer and jolliness that comes with the season. Until I see you all again, enjoy your crocheting. Bye for now.